I had this fantastic idea for a video. All of the Oxford English Dictionary's words of the year from 1999 until now. I thought we could go through all the words together and not only improve our knowledge of the English language, but also our understanding of the culture, the beliefs, and figure out why certain words were chosen in certain years. However, when I looked into the last 20 years of the Oxford English Dictionary's word of the year, some of them were ridiculous. For example, in 2015, the word of the year was an emoji, the laughing, crying emoji. So instead, I decided to do the last 10 years, but include the Cambridge English Dictionary and the Collins English Dictionary. By combining the dictionaries, you will hopefully get more of an understanding of the English language, the culture, the beliefs of English people, and also learn new words along the way. Hi, my name is Catherine. If this is your first time seeing me, I am a business English teacher. I work with intermediate to advanced level students. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about when I say word of the year, let me explain. So actually, this was a German tradition that started in 1971. And every word that was chosen would describe what happened in that year, the feelings of the people, the atmosphere, the successes and losses of that year, and the overall belief of how that year went. So a great example, all the dictionary's word of the year for 2020 was related to pandemic, quarantine, lockdown, because in 2020, that's all we talked about. Now, the Oxford English Dictionary and the Cambridge English Dictionary choose words specifically related to the UK. However, the Collins English Dictionary looks at all the countries that speak English, so it's more of a global, a more international word of the year. For example, in 2017, Collins English Dictionary's word of the year was fake news, which relates to the American elections. Now, I'll put all the words up on the screen. So if you want to pause the video and look up each individual word, you can certainly do that. However, I will be only focusing on the words that I think are actually relevant to your life and could be used in everyday conversation. So let's take a quick minute to go back to 2014. What were you doing in 2014? I think I was just finishing my university studies and getting ready to start my first official job. Now, Cambridge English Dictionary only started doing this in 2015. So for our first year, we will only be looking at Oxford English Dictionary and Collins English Dictionary. Now, Oxford English Dictionary's word of the year was vape, and I believe on YouTube I cannot talk about this for monetization reasons, so do a quick Google of that. But Collins English Dictionary's word of the year was photobomb. Photobomb. And I don't know if you remember, there was a trend back in 2014 where if someone was taking a photo, people would run in, pull a funny face, be in the background. This is a photo bomb. You are ruining someone else's photo, but in a playful, friendly way. 2015, Cambridge English Dictionary's first ever word of the year was austerity. Austerity. And austerity refers to living in a way that is not luxury. So only buying what you need, not spending more money than you need. And often we talk about governments running countries with austerity, or the financial year having austerity. It's a year where perhaps we had enough money to live, but not to spend more than we needed. And the Collins English Dictionary, this is a fantastic word that you will probably use often, binge watch. Binge watch. Now, this refers to watching something without stopping. If you watch a TV show on Netflix and you don't stop, you watch the entire thing from the first episode to the last episode, you can describe this as binge watching. Or perhaps you have a YouTuber you love and you watch 8 hours of their videos. This could be called binge watching. It's watching something without stopping because it's so interesting and you enjoy it so much. 2016, we have post-truth, paranoid, and Brexit. So I think you can feel here something political happened. Now, post-truth is a very new phrase. It was created in this year, in 2016, and it refers to people making opinions based on beliefs or feeling rather than the truth. Paranoid is not having trust for someone or something. Sometimes this can be overreacting. So actually you should trust this person, but you are paranoid. You don't feel like you can trust them. So paranoid is not trusting something or someone. And Brexit, my favorite word. I'm joking if you couldn't tell. Brexit was when Britain, England, left the European Union. 2017, we have youthquake, populism, and fake news. Now, I told you fake news was related to the elections in America. As the phrase suggests, it is news that is fake. It's not true. Youthquake. Now, I had to research this one because I've not used the phrase youthquake, but it means when young people try and make changes. They protest, they stand up against politicians or rules or ideas. And populism is the idea of politics that relates to the average person, so the most popular. And we don't mean popular as in the most liked, but we mean popular as in the majority. So the majority of people in England are middle class. So a politician that goes with the populism vote is aiming to get the vote of the middle class, the average person in the UK. So maybe you've heard the term the elite, and the elite refers to that 1% in every country that has millions or even billions, and normal rules do not apply to them because they have so much money. The populace would be the rest of us that do not have millions and billions. So populism is related to talking to, targeting, wanting to attract the vote of the average person. 2018, we have toxic, nomophobia, and single use. I'm going to start with nomophobia because this is very interesting. Anytime you see a word ending in phobia, phobia means to be scared of. So arachnophobia is scared of spiders, and nomophobia is not being able to go a long period of time without your phone. I think a lot of young people nowadays probably have nomophobia. Toxic, I believe you know the word toxic, but the way we use it these days is when someone or something is a very negative, very bad environment for you to be in. So you will often hear people say toxic workplace, toxic environment, toxic boss. And this means someone or something, an atmosphere that is very negative. It is not positive. Somebody that doesn't push you forwards, but actually holds you back and makes you feel bad about yourself. We are now moving into the era of climate change and global warming and people being aware of climate change and global warming. So you see single use. This refers to something that cannot be recycled. It can only be used once, which moves us into 2019 when Greta Thunberg started her Friday strikes. So you will see all of the words for 2019 are related to that. Now, the only one I think you might not know here is upcycling. This is very similar to recycling, but there's a slight difference. So recycling is breaking something down and making it new. So for example, plastic, you break it down, you melt it down, and you create something new. Upcycling, you are not breaking the item down, but you are changing it so it can be used again. A lot of the time you see furniture being upcycled. So maybe the furniture is very old, fashioned, it's not that interesting, and somebody paints it bright pink and sells it as furniture for a child's bedroom. This would be upcycling. So you're changing something into something new, but you're not breaking down the original product. 2020. Now we all know what happened in 2020. For some reason, Oxford English Dictionary is not following their own rules, and in 2020, instead of one word, they created an entire list of words, and they called this list Words of an Unprecedented Year. Now, unprecedented means never seen before or never heard of before. If I say it was an unprecedented year, that means we never saw a year like that before, which was true. In 2020, of course, we had the pandemic, we were in lockdown. Every country suffered during 2020. And we've never seen that before, where every country in the world suffered the same problem, which is why it's unprecedented. Quarantine and lockdown basically mean the same thing. Quarantine is when you keep someone or something, an animal, plants, in an enclosed space to stop the spread of bacteria. And lockdown was what we all had to go through during that time. 2021, we have vax, short for vaccination. Perseverance. Perseverance. Now, this is our first positive word of the year in a while. Perseverance. If you have perseverance or if you persevere, it means even though things are hard, even though things are really difficult for you, you keep going. You keep trying. You don't give up. Somebody that has perseverance is very strong and never gives up. Now, permacrisis, hopefully we never have to use this again, because perma comes from permanent, and crisis is a troubling situation. So a permacrisis is jumping from one bad situation to another with no end in sight. Think about during that period of time, we were constantly given bad news. Every time you opened your phone, opened your laptop, turned on the TV, there was always bad news. So this could be described as a permacrisis. And finally, 2023. Now, Oxford English Dictionary again has chosen Riz. I highly recommend you do not use this word unless you are under the age of 15. Riz is something that very young people in America and England are using as slang for attractiveness or having style or liking something in someone else. But I highly recommend you don't use this as an adult. Hallucination. That's a strange one from Cambridge English Dictionary. Why have they chosen hallucination? Well, this was the year that ChatGPT came out and we started to learn more about AI. And we only know a very small percentage of what we can do with AI and the security risks with AI. So they chose hallucination because it's a form of our imagination. We don't yet know everything, so we can only imagine what AI can do and what it will do. So they've chosen hallucination because hallucination means something that you are imagining. It's not physically in front of you, but you've imagined it's in front of you. And of course, Collins English Dictionary chose AI. Now, this of course leaves us with 2024. This word will not be announced until December because they always choose it at the end of the year. What do you think it could be? I have a feeling it will be something to do with generative AI or perhaps the cost of living crisis. Every country is more expensive at the moment. Maybe the word will be inflation, shrinkflation. But I hope it's more positive than that. I hope it's something to do with the future. If you were to summarize your year so far with one word, what would it be? And what do you want it to be by the end of the year? How do you want your year to change? Let me know down below what you thought of this video and what you think the word will be for 2024. I wish you a fantastic week and I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye bye.